Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Vashankar from Hyderabad, Telangana. Today is 7th of November 2025. Time is 5:24 p.m. As you can see, I'm going to talk about the third house, and all the information related to the third house will be discussed here. Okay, so the natural third house is Gemini. The lord of the third house is Mercury. Okay, it is a Aries sign. Okay, it controls the western direction, right? And the significations of this house is co-bonds, courage, mental strength, communication, short travels, okay, to some extent legal battles also. The Karaka for the third house is Mars, which means any planet placed in the third house of the natural zodiac or from the Lagna, it acts as if it is controlled by Mars. Now, any malefic planet placed in the third house can give you courage to fight, while the benefics in the third house do not give you the courage to fight, which means that the person will be very submissive. Okay, he does not want to fight. Now, the third house of the Kala Purusha is hands. Okay, so it also shows the skills or the tools which we use in our daily work. Okay, Mars in the third house ensures that a person can become a good welder, okay, and he can produce good things, okay, good things by way of welding. Mars is a fiery planet, right? And if Venus is placed in the third house, then the person will become a good artist, okay? Malefics in the third house makes the native to fight for power and position, while the benefics in the third house makes the person a peace-loving person. Okay, and the native will not like to have power and authority, but he will strive hard to ensure that there is a peace around him. Okay, now the third house will deal with the part of the intelligence whereby the personal skills are developed. This is because third house is house of Upachaya. Upachaya means growth. As I told you, Venus will give skills for painting, Jupiter for writing, Ketu for meditating, Saturn to extract minerals from the ground, Rahu to prepare bombs and poisons. Okay, Sun will ensure that the native has the skill to work with fire, that is light firearms, swords, and all that stuff. And Jupiter, which is the most benefic planet, will allow you to have skills relating to writing. Okay. Now, planet placed in the third house will aspect the ninth house by the seventh house drishti. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that means by seventh house drishti, if I count the third house from the third house, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it is going to aspect the ninth house by seventh house drishti. Okay. So the native will develop dharma. Okay, he will develop all the qualities of dharma, provided there are benefic planets in that particular house. Let us suppose there are malefic planets in the third house. If there is a malefic planet in the third house, like Rahu, Saturn, Ketu, Mars, then the significance of the ninth house will be damaged. So the native will not follow the principles of dharma. Okay? The natural law is to promote world peace. So it is better to have a natural benefic in the third house. Now, all these things I'm talking from the Lagna point of view. Okay? I'm giving a Lagna point of view. Third house, as I told you, it's the house of Upachaya. Okay? So if the Lagnesha, that means any Lagna Lord is going and sitting in the third house, it is called as a Dhimanta Yoga. Okay? Dhimanta Yoga. If the ascendant Lord is conjoining the third, fifth, sixth, or its Lord, it is called a Dhimanta Yoga. Okay, Dhimanta is nothing but skill development. Now, because the third house is all about cohorts, okay, the third house is for younger siblings, which we have to see from the Lagna and the Arudha Lagna. The houses, the third house from the Lagna will determine the physical presence. That means physically you can see your younger brother, right? Any planet in the third house from the Lagna. But if the same planets are placed in the third house from the Arudha Lagna, it will tell me how many of the siblings are born to you. A strong malefic in the third house from the Lagna can destroy your siblings. Okay? But if it is a weak malefic, then the younger siblings are protected and physical strength is given to those siblings. For example, if Mars is there in the third house from the Lagna, it will not give younger brothers to the native. Okay? But if Mars is in the Cancer from the Lagna, then the younger brother is born and that brother will become very strong. Okay? If Rahu is associated with the third house or the third lord from the Lagna, the younger brother will not survive. Okay? the native will be able to know death beforehand. Okay? Planetary placement in the third from the Ardha Lagna will tell me what sort of death the native will encounter. For example, let us say the moon is placed, then it is a what from the water. If Mars is placed, then it is some sharp weapons. If Sun is placed, let us say Sun is like firearms. Okay, and if Saturn is there, then it is through some sort of sickness, some sort of sickness. Okay, now any planet which is placed in the third house from the Arudha Lagna will tell me as to from as to what is the distance the native has to go in order to encounter the death. If it is a fixed sign, then inside the house. If it is a dual sign, little bit farther from the house. If it is a movable sign, a long way from the house. The third lord in different houses, okay, will determine the results. Okay, the third lord in the fifth house will also aspect the third house, which denotes that the native will earn money or native will blessed to have such friends or younger brothers where he will help the native financially. Okay. Placement of the third lord in the Dushtana is considered as auspicious for the simple reason that the native will have control over his sexual instincts. Okay. If if placed in these houses with the lord of other Dushtana, then it is the Viparita Raja Yoga. That means if the lord of the third house is also conjoining the lord of the sixth house, eighth house, or twelfth house, and it is placed in sixth house, eighth house, or twelfth house, then it is called as a Viparita Raja Yoga. Now, the involvement of the third lord or the Mars, which is the Karka for the third house, shows gains through war. Okay, and if it is conjoining the sixth lord also, the native will fight for his rights. Okay, and if it is eighth lord also, if it is the involvement of the eighth house also, then it is inheritance. That means any planet placed in the eighth house will show inheritance. If let us suppose the ascendant lord is placed in the third house, the native will be very dynamic. If the seventh lord is in the third house, then the spouse will be very dynamic. If the ninth lord is in the third house, okay, the native's father also will be dynamic. If the eighth lord is in the third house, okay, the native will have more marriages. Okay, will have more marriages.